What's up, everyone? It's Rickzilla here, coming to you live again. Um, right now, Streamlabs is being a complete dunderhead because I couldn't log into my streams. I couldn't log into my Streamlabs. Hey there. I couldn't log in, but Streamlabs was being a complete bitch right now. I don't know why. I don't know how. But right, it was working a few days ago. Maybe it must be my. Maybe it must be something. So I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way. If it starts acting up, let me know. Again, here's Adrasdea being, well, you know who. Sorry. Sorry, I was just. Oh, sorry. She's pulling the same shit Shanny is doing with the whole copyright issue. Again, this is the thing I see with these lolcows is that they have no idea how copyright works and assumes that if you post their material on YouTube, she doesn't understand how transformative properties are like. And that's what this is. Adrastea's material is transformative property, and she doesn't get that. She assumes that people have to pay for her shit. This is where I'm saying her greed come into play. Oh, sorry. look, yes, my avatar is a copyrighted work, but it's also my personality. It's something I love, but again, I basically customized and did edits using Photoshop, but I'm not making money off of it. It's not my avatar, but I use it just because I like it. That doesn't mean I make money off of it. Now, there are other avatars that I can use. And the Fat Yoshi is a copyrighted piece. It's a Yoshi, kind of like my Godzilla avatar. But unfortunately, some people, it's basically their avatar, but that's not copyright. And neither is Adrasdea's videos. They're free, they're fair use. It's fair use. But, however, Adrasdea doesn't know how fair use works, or doesn't understand the definition of fair use. Okay, I'm just gonna say right here. Again, Adrasdea, what you put on the internet, whether if it's on YouTube, OnlyFans, what have it, the content you put out is fair use. It's transformative. Adonis Paul can use your audio, and use it for his little animations. Dave Wave Radio uses your videos to review and point out the plot holes in your arguments. I basically react to everything you say, and I give constructive criticism. However, you can't understand what constructive criticism is, because, again, you have it in your mind that anyone who criticizes you or talks about you in a negative way is bullying you. And I'm sorry, that's not how this shit works. Yeah, I know. Good evening, Crash. It's good to see you here. It's good to see one of my mods here. Oh. Or one of... Okay, I'm going to argue with that one. Look, about the whole murder thing, again, I don't believe that Adrasdea I don't believe she murdered Roberta Laws. I believe that Kenneth McBride had every intention on getting rid of her. I mean, I don't know what about Roberta Laws. All I know is that she was a disabled woman and he was engaged to her. I know about Kenneth McBride's other crimes, as well as the being a convicted child rapist. I also know that he's not right in the head. If you've seen Adonis Paul's video on if you've seen Adonis Paul's documentary on Adrasdea, you would see the image of Kenneth McBride in court, and from the looks of it, this guy doesn't speak. This guy doesn't look right all there. Nothing about this guy says upstanding, well-functioning citizen. I mean, he's had some priors. He is basically the epitome of evil. And honestly, I really shouldn't go into any details about what kind of person Kenneth was, because right now he's in jail for what he did. He murdered a disabled woman that he claimed to have loved. And I do believe that maybe Roberta Law might have been receiving income from the government for disabilities. I believe that she was receiving disability money, and he was trying to get with her just for the money. And when he got with Mary, or Adrasdea is what she's now known as, and he found out that Meemaw was loaded, he wanted to hop on that. I think in some way Kenneth was looking for an excuse to do away with Roberta, and he must have misheard Mary's words. Or actually, he was trying to find an excuse. I think he was trying to find an excuse to get rid of Roberta. Oh yeah. Let me... I already have you as a wrench. It must be on my end. They've already been done with. Supernatural's over. Well, I think... Yeah. No. People... Well, yeah, maybe. That's because you were never demonetized. I mean, you're not a monetized channel, Mary. You don't have that many subscribers to get YouTube partnership. And most of the money that you receive from donation usually goes to weed, mostly weed. And that's through PayPal. I do think it's good that someone's donating to you, but they're donating to you for the wrong reasons. I think people should donate to you to better your situation, to encourage you to get better. But that's the thing with you, is you don't want to get better. In fact, you want to get worse. And that's the same thing I see with Shanny. And most of the shit that that you were reviewing, looking at, like Supernatural or Beverly Hillbillies, that is copyright material. You're using other people's material, which you should not do if you want to be a monetized channel. But then again, most channels I see have other outlets to get money from. Uh-huh. So, she's trying to make this argument that, yeah, we're using her content without her permission. I'm sorry, Adrasdea. That's not how this works. You have only 584 subscribers and 432 videos. And, well, right now I'm on your channel. The only way to get your channel addressed is you have to have a substantial amount of subscribers, which, of course, you know what? I'm not going to argue with your lunatic rantings. This is her Section 8 housing, and she's singing right now because, oh boy, I'm not going to go into full details on why she's singing like this. I can make mean-spirited jokes on her tone deafness, but let's just take a look. I know. Also, you know how that copyright works is you have to have a disclaimer that says that it's not for profit. That's why I always have to copy and paste the copyright disclaimer. I have to keep copying and pasting that. That's why I always have it in my notepads about my the description in my streams. Is that so people can understand that what I use in my streams is for entertainment purposes. It's not to make money off of it. That's why I always put a disclaimer. I always put the copyright disclaimer in my videos. God damn, she's a terrible singer. It looks good. Well, she doesn't have that much right now. Yeah, facility would be better. Yeah. Oh my god, Catch Me If You Can. That you're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. I mean, she does look like she belongs in a psych ward, I agree with you, but all she wants is to be loved. I mean, unlike Shanny and Rev, she's not hurting anyone, maliciously hurting anyone, or threatening to hurt anyone. I mean, she's just having these arguments about people making videos on her. She has this mindset where she thinks that anyone who makes videos on her is automatically trying to attack her, trying to get people to bully her. You know what? That does sound like Shanny and Rev. But the thing is, Shanny and Rev, they like to lie constantly to save face. Or actually, no, Shanny's the one who likes to lie, and Rev is just agreeing with her. Yes. Yeah, that too. Hey, Cherokee girl, how are you doing? I agree. I agree, Crash. I agree. But in her mind, she thinks that being placed in a psych ward is akin to the PTSD of being trapped in some sort of makeshift dungeon. Okay, that's her words, not mine. Again, her words, not mine. She thinks that if she goes into a psych ward, she's going to end up having PTSD of being isolated from everyone else. She, in her book, I Will Never Stop Screaming, she talks about the torture that Kenneth put her through by locking her in a dungeon. Her words, not mine. I don't believe that she was held captive for 5 days. Neither does Adonis Paul. But the fact that she was in a toxic relationship with a convicted sex offender, a convicted child molester, is telling how damaged she really is. Her first husband, her ex-husband, was also a child, a sexual predator, a sex offender. Her first husband was a sex offender who was seeing an underage girl while she was still married to him. So she was being cut behind her back. Hey, Cherokee girl. I agree, Cherokee girl. I totally agree with you. God damn, she's a terrible singer. She's even worse than Shanny. She tries to sound angelic, but she kind of comes off as tone deaf. I agree. Alright. And now, let me preface this, is that, yes, I do agree, but shit, Adrasdea doesn't understand how the mental health system works. She basically thinks that all psych wards are like One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, That's basically how she sees psych wards. Is that she thinks that it's kind of like Shutter Island or Arkham Asylum. That's what she thinks. By the way, that's her cat. Alright, I'm just looking. Alopecia journey. Alright, I'm gonna... Oh, alopecia. Oh, alopecia is basically the loss of hair. Alopecia. That's probably why. That's probably why I'm. That's probably one of the reasons why she's losing her hair. Is I agree with Crash. She might. I agree. I do believe Crash that she could be. Her alopecia might be caused by stress because if you've seen her videos, which I'm pretty sure you have, she's always stressful. She's always panicking. She's paranoid 24/7. And that's probably why she's suffering from alopecia. Also, if you guys wish to support me, again, I have a PayPal. Any amount of will do. You know. I agree. I know it makes me a bad person. It doesn't really make me a bad person to ask for money if I'm doing something with it. And what I'm doing with that money is giving back to the community or supporting other channels. I mean, I'm pretty sure you saw me donate super chats in Jules's channel. You've seen me donate super chats in Frank's and Miss Parker. That's basically what I've been using my PayPal donations for. And that's a good thing, right? Chemicals can do that. Tell that to Rev. Sorry. Tricotillomate. I can't pronounce. I can't pronounce that word. Trichotillomania. Trichotillomania. Trichotillomania is. I can't pronounce that word. Glad to see you too, Blue. You need some Rogaine. I'm gonna. An autoimmune disease. I don't know if her alopecia is genetic. I think she's just using that as an excuse. I think she, and I agree, she might have like a symptom of pulling out her hair, which is probably why she's pulling out her hair. She's losing hair again. Okay, so from what I vaguely understand, she might be whatever suffering from whatever disease symptom. Rogaine will no longer help me, Rick. Oh, sorry, my bad. So she is manipulative. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Alright. Anyway. Defensive. Oh, shit. Oh, my bad. My bad. She doesn't have kids. She doesn't. Uh-oh. You shouldn't take most of the comments as threats. You shouldn't be taking people's comments as threats. Most people who are commenting on you are only giving you constructive criticism. Yes, it could be harsh at times, but that's how you learn, is that you have to be harsh. You have to have tough love. Sometimes a little tough love goes a long way. I had to figure that out the hard way. I mean, you've all seen my pity party post on Discord. Well, most of you have, but that's because tough love goes a long way. It might take a long time for me to get monetized or get YouTube partnership, but in the end, that's why I have to keep putting out videos, putting out streams. I'm not hustling and bustling like Shanny, but I do my shit my way. Oh yeah, that's yeah. I think she's talking about the people posting comments in her YouTube on her YouTube channel on her YouTube videos. And honestly, that's kind of childish, but dude, most of their I know some comments are trollish and shit, but other comments they basically are trying to help you. And is my Yeah, I understand. Sorry, Mike. Look, I don't. You're starting to sound like someone I'd covered on my channel. And honestly, I really shouldn't be bringing her name up in this video, but I already did. More than once. And if you keep this up, Adrasdea, you're going to end up like her. The only difference is you don't have kids. Or a spouse to abuse, or a spouse to abuse. Tough love goes a long way. I do agree that Shanny, I mean, hold on, let me see this. Oh, that was Sherry. Chrissy. Oh, Chrissy, if you're in the chat, she's reading your shit. Look, what Christy is saying is that you're acting sporadic. You have a tendency to jump to conclusions. You have a tendency to get paranoid every once in a get paranoid over trivial things. Your arguments are solely based on you not finding a job, using mental illness as an excuse, and of course, blaming everybody but yourself for all your own misfortunes. Rational and lucid, huh? Sorry if the frame rate is a bit off. I mean, right now I'm just signing in the old-fashioned way because YouTube is being, well, not YouTube. Streamlabs is being a bitch right now, and I want to fill in the hour. Yeah. One of these days we'll do some Vaughn. Oh, you're wrong for that. I know I could say Shanny, but she's crazy. I don't. Hold on, let me play this video. Are you still talking about the whole? Oh shit. I just turned it up loud. My bad. I had it low. Is it better now? Well, you are.
Crazy. And it's not going to work because
there you
medication has finally started kicking in.
There you go. I had it on the wrong setting. This is what happens when you try to do a one-man show.
Medication that I have had changed and increased multiple times. They actually increased my Remeron the last time I went, which is probably why I'm feeling a little bit more in control today. Which is why y'all are going to keep pushing and trying to push me back out of control, because you don't want me to get better. None of you actually want me to get better. You simply want me to stay on the lowest rung of humanity, because that's the place that you can kick me. Because you're just a little bit higher. And you can't do anything to the people above you.
Is that better? Is that better? Oh, thank you. Again, I had... Alright. Thank you. Thank you, Blue. But that's the thing. I don't know how to, like... Someone suggested I use the StreamYard when I'm in Streamlabs. Maybe that's probably why.
You can definitely go down. You can kick down, you can spit down, you can shove down. And you think it'll help you get a little bit higher. I don't even want to move that much higher up. My goal in life right now is to be happy. And I don't think I'll ever reach it. If anybody wants to send me some PayPal to go get some weed to help, though, PayPal me/Adrasdea.
Yeah. Weed. This was when Chrissy was responding to Adrasdea's videos, and she's throwing a hissy fit because people respond to her. I'm surprised she's never tried to respond to me.
One more thing I'm going to point out before I go offline and do a supernatural review. You've all been telling me, get a job, 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 get a job. So when I said I went to the dispensary, what are you posting in my comments? Oh, you don't need a job at a dispensary. The last thing you need is a job at a dispensary. Why would you get a job there? Why there? No, 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 no. Don't get a job there. Don't get a job somewhere that you would enjoy. No, we want you to get a job that you hate.
No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying is that if you work at a dispensary, all you'll do is smoke weed all day. All you're going to do is just smoke weed all day and not sell it. You're going to smoke the product and not sell it. That's what people are more concerned about, is because that's basically what you've been doing. You've been smoking your money and not selling it.
Fuck you. I'm not capable of working, but if I was capable
I like
of working,
Supernatural
I was
too.
going to find a job that I would enjoy, just like every other human being on the planet. Don't come at me telling me to get a job, but then tell me that the job...
Lauren? This woman here is Adrasdea. She's about the same age as Shanny. Except I think she's a few years younger than Shanny. She's 36 years old. She lives in Section 8 housing, and she basically likes to play the victim and act like everybody should feel sorry for her and give her money just for food and weed. She helped cover a murder back in February of 2009. She helped cover a murder in 2009 by buying a shovel while her boyfriend at the time, a convicted child rapist, murdered his wheel-bound fiance with cerebral palsy. And then she helped cover up the crime scene while he got rid of the body. She's a runaway. She's a runaway who has been living on the streets of Los Angeles for 5 years until she recently got her Section 8 housing. This woman has been trolled to oblivion by numerous people who are fans of content creators who cover her material.
I find you don't agree with.
Okay, now you're just being childish. You are just being a childish person.
Okay.
I'm just covering her recent material. No, she didn't. She, had a plea deal. She had a plea bargain to, she basically, went to the police and told everything about the murder, and they offered her like a plea bargain. And, she kind of took it. And also her maybe I will look at Earl possibly after this. I still need to figure out how to like fix my.
So, the idea that my family denies the abuse, and so that means that obviously it didn't happen. Because my family won't admit it. My family says it didn't happen. And so if they all say that I'm a liar, then there was no abuse. Somebody explain to my brother. Explain to my brother that there was no abuse. They didn't always deny it. This is a conversation I had with one of my aunts before they started denying everything. I said, "Did he beat my mom the day Ronnie Jr. was born?" That's something else Mima always said, that Bubba was the way he was because my dad tried to kill him in utero thinking he was a girl. And the response was, he did. He did. I don't care what anybody else in this family has to say about the abuse that happened in my home. This is all I need. One single family member that was accepting that he was abusive, so abusive that he beat my mother the day she gave birth to my brother, and my brother was then born like this.
I'm not gonna deny that your father was a piece of shit when he was alive. But I'm more concerned about why hasn't CPS gotten involved if this was actually happening. Why didn't your grandmother gain full, or your relatives gain full custody of you and your siblings? Why were you forced to live in that situation to begin with?
And lived 23 years drooling on himself and shitting in diapers. That's the father that I grew up with. He did that to his own son. And he did worse. He did worse. Because, look.
I believe. You're right, Blue.
Let's see. I have a question. You might not be able to help. You weren't around at the time. I'm trying to remember childhood. My therapist thinks remembering will help. Is there anything you can remember?
Oh, okay, yeah. I get you. I really get you. Yeah. CPS wasn't really a big thing back then, so... My bad. If this abuse was happening, why hasn't anyone called the cops?
Specifically, I'm trying to validate.
There should have been police records. If this abuse did happen, there should have been, like, I don't know, arrest records. If they did happen, then I would like to see proof of any arrest records if there was any abuse.
One, do you know if my father ever went to prison? I have memories of visiting him at work, swimming in the quarry, and Meemaw said it was because he tried to rape a 13-year-old girl who was at our house to buy drugs from him. And she says, I do remember your dad getting caught, and yes, with the 13-year-old.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, Platty, she did say she used a Burger King cup as a toilet, as well as a salad bowl. And that was back when she was living in a truck. I almost forgot to add that in there, Lauren, that while she was homeless for 5 years, she was living inside a used truck, illegally parked in front of a church parking lot.
Okay? So not only did my father cripple his only son by beating his wife while she was pregnant, he later, if he didn't go to prison for it, he almost went to prison for attempting to rape a 13-year-old girl.
I agree.
And the story that I got out of that was that when he went to prison for marijuana, the 13-year-old girl had come over to the trailer to buy drugs from him. He tried to rape her. She escaped by going out through a hole in the floor of the apartment and running, and her father was a lawyer, and they didn't want anybody to know that she had come to the house to buy drugs, and so instead of going after him for trying to rape her, they went after him for being a drug dealer. Like, what y'all don't know about my family is fucking sad.
I think she put that in her book, and I believe that what she's saying might be ripping off the story called A Child Called It. Let me look that up, because let me see what it is. A Child Called It by Dave Pelzer. A Child Called It. It is the unforgettable account of one of the most severe child abuses. I'm on Google Books right now. And here's a brief synopsis and review. A Child Called It is the unforgettable account of one of the most severe child abuse cases in California history. Dave Pelzer was brutally beaten and starved by his emotionally unstable alcoholic mother, who played torturous games that left him nearly dead. In the sequel, The Lost Boy, Dave is finally rescued by the social service system, then shuffled in and out of foster homes. tears and laughter, despair and hope all create the journey of this little boy desperately looking for the love of a family, a place to call home. Jackie. So this is basically an autobiography. So basically she ripped off this book. She basically ripped off this book by taking the abuse of Dave Pelzer, from Dave Pelzer's childhood, and passing it on as her own. It's available on Amazon. And this is basically a memoir from the person.
And just because my family denies it, there are neighbors who have told me things that my family would never admit to.
I know, right?
So, you know, y'all want to tell
Recently,
me that there was no abuse in my home.
So she basically ripped off the Dave Pelzer's childhood and passed it on as her own. And I think I said that.
Just because my family says that there wasn't. But my family was the ones that were abusive. That my family sued me while I was homeless to overturn a will, to take an inheritance from me so that they could have it. That's my family. They are not loving people. They are absolutely abusive. And nobody's ever going to believe me because I wasn't filming back then. And the rest of the family has been paid off to lie and defend a man who can no longer hurt them. He can't fucking hurt us anymore, but they're going to keep lying about him and saying that he was so wonderful and so perfect.
Well, that's because I don't know if I believe all the abuse. Maybe it did happen, but not the way you say it did. Again, as I said before, all the stuff that you've said is basically ripping off other people's works. And look, I'm not going to go up and say I'm defending your family. I mean, your family has not. Your family knows you. Your family knows that you have a habit of lying. So, again, I have to take your family's word over yours. I'm sorry, Mary, but that's the truth. It's their word against yours. And from what I heard from your relatives, your siblings, and your aunt, is that most of the stories that you have said are basically other people's work. And from what I hear, you basically have inserted yourself in the position of Dave Pelzer. You've inserted yourself in Dave Pelzer's story, and you basically passed it on as your own.
I've known that he did this to my little brother since I was a teenager. And I didn't tell my sisters because I didn't want to hurt them. But I've known. I don't care what Kathy says. I don't care what Kathy's children say. I lived in that home, and I know what the truth is.
I understand. I will show the proof, or which one? Abuse proof. Oh, the abuse proof? That was the video I showed. Blue. That was the video I showed. Yes, she admits to lying. I was watching it. I was watching it. But yeah. Now I wish to show. Wait, did I already play this one? And now. Now let me play it.
I'll tell you guys what. I will never speak about you using my videos again if you can do one thing for me. Any of you. Any of you. Hatman, Adonis, Daywave, any of you. Start researching. Get your little Google fingers up. Show me one single document. And I will never say anything about any of you using my videos again. That's it. Just show me the legal documentation stating that I am a murderer. And I will never talk about any of you again. Show legal documentation saying that I am an assisted murderer. And I will never talk about any of you again. Show legal documentation that I ever killed anybody. And I will never speak about any of you again. Show the legal proof of what you have been saying for the last 5 months. The problem is you can't. You can't because it's not true. I am not labeled a murderer. I am not labeled an attempted murderer. I am not labeled an assisted murderer. I am labeled a witness. And you want to say, oh, well, in court they said this. Was I charged with that? Was I charged? You have spent 5 months convincing people that I have murdered somebody or helped murder somebody. So all you have to do to continue saying that is show the legal documents that say that I did that. You can't do that because those don't exist. And I can even prove to y'all that those don't exist because you've posted my criminal record. Check it out. Let's see, what page was that on? I believe it was on the second page. Right, there's my aliases. Which most of them are Mary still, unlike my...
Yeah, again, like I said, like I commented in her chat, in her comments, is that nobody is accusing you of murdering Roberta Laws. No one is accusing you. They're just saying that to get a rise out of you. But no one actually believed you killed her. Kenneth was the one who murdered Roberta. It does, I mean, I would believe that you were a witness, but from what I heard from your words is that you walked in. Kenneth had a surprise for you, from what I heard from the book, where you're... I think in some way, Kenneth was trying to look for... I'm doing good. No, Chase. No, Chase. She was never confined. That was from Silence. She ripped... No, Chase. She was never confined by Kenneth. That was ripped off from Silence of the Lamb. She stole that from Silence of the Lamb. Yeah, she did write a book. Yes, Lauren, she did write a book. It's called I Will Never Stop Screaming. It's available on Amazon.
Husband who has a whole bunch of female aliases.
She's a runaway. From what I understand, she's a runaway.
Where are the files? Look on the first page again.
Is the book Hood?
Man,
The title of the book, Nick James, is called I Will Never Stop Screaming. But most of the stories that she has, like what Blue said, she's ripped off other people's works. She's ripped off the autobiography from Dave Pelzer, which I keep name dropping because it's public. She ripped off the autobiography called A Child Called It, which is an autobiography of Dave Pelzer's mistreatment under his abusive mother. And, of course, the whole dungeon thing, she ripped off Silence of the Lamb. The whole comparing... She's basically taking the character Buffalo Bill and replacing it with Kenneth McBride.
unless they took down the records, but I don't think they said they don't take anything down, so.
Must...
Found it. So, yeah, they've got the criminal information here for me, Roberta, Corey, Joshua, and Steve. But you know who they didn't show? In this area, anyway. The actual murderer. Because his criminal record looks like shit. And they don't want to show that. So, let's see. This is my official criminal record. Just history, relatives, neighbors, associates, professional, social media, properties, criminal and traffic record. Number 1.
I'm sorry to hear that, Nick.
Offense details, misdemeanor, 2nd degree.
I'm sorry to hear that, Nick. I really do. I don't know what it's like to be a child of neglect and abuse, because my mother loved me with all her heart, even though she had to work most times to put food on the table. I was basically raised by my grandmother before she passed away, and then I was raised by my aunt before she left, and then I was mostly able to take care of myself.
Driving. Disposition dismissed, status closed. So, unlawful speed, that's not a murder. Record number 2 was no valid driver's license. That's not a murder. Record number 3 was no valid driver's license. Not a murder. Record number 4, no valid driver's license. Not a murder.
So you were...
Look, that's it.
Oh, my bad. I thought you've had the... Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about your childhood. Oh, no. My bad. I'm sorry. Dude. Oh, you're working in child development? Oh, that's good. That's great. I mean, good for you, man. Good for you. I'm sorry. I misread your comment. But it's good that you're pursuing something you're passionate about. It's good that you have something to work forward to.
Huh. Amazing. You know what it looks like if you're convicted of murder? Let me show you. This is what your criminal record will look like if you're convicted of murder.
You mean studying about child abuse? No, let me see this. Now this is Kenneth McBride, and from the looks of it, if you've seen the documentary that Adonis Paul put out, nothing about this guy says upstanding citizen. I mean, this guy is basically psychotic and is mentally unhinged. I mean, for God's sakes, this guy was a convicted child predator and murderer, and he murdered his wheel-bound fiancée. And let's not forget that Adrasdea, Mary, was married to a child predator before she got with Kenneth. Before she got with Kenneth, she married a child predator who happens to be transgender, or who basically transitioned later on in life. And she went on to defend him because they thought that people were discriminating against him because of his transgenderism. And they thought that people were discriminating against him for that. But in actuality, he was actually seeing a 16-year-old girl behind his back. This guy, on the other hand, was in prison in 1998 for sexually abusing a child under the age of an underage child, and is also serving a life sentence for murdering his disabled fiancée, Roberta Laws, who I've mentioned multiple times in this stream and other streams talking about Adrasdea.
Department of Corrections.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Good for you. Good for you, dude. Good for you, Nick. Good for you. It's good that you're helping out. It's good for you that you're helping out.
Report will look like if you're a sex offender. My bad. There's another one that would post him as a murderer.
The article.
But funny that mine does not call me a murderer, yet you guys continue to say it's okay to do so.
Well, no one's actually calling you a murderer. I may have misread you. I thought you were, because you basically instigated the crime by telling Kenneth to get rid of Roberta. But again, I believe that Kenneth was trying to look for an excuse to dispose of Roberta on his own accord, and you provided him with the motivation to do so unintentionally. So, yeah. He mistook your words and construed it around.
Prove what you're saying. Or accept that you are lying assholes who are simply out to destroy somebody who you don't like. Show me evidence that I am a murderer. Legal evidence.
Oh, look. Oh, hey, brother-in-law Billy. It's the most... Look, check it out. It's Billy, the humblest member of the Geek Room. And, Yes. That bushy beard, that Puerto Rican beard of his.
Show me court records. If somebody has murdered somebody, it is very easy to prove that with court records.
The titted atheist.
And saying, well, if he was the gun, you pulled the trigger, was I charged with that?
I agree. I totally agree.
Was I charged with it? No, I wasn't.
Again, I don't really think that Adrasdea was charged with murder. She's basically making this shit up just... Or actually, she thinks that people are calling her that because... Well, let's just say that people were roping her in with the murder of Roberta Laws because they were watching Adonis Paul's documentary on her. And, well... They must have misheard well, they were basically jumping to conclusions. Again, I don't think that Mary or Adrasdea murdered Roberta. I still think that she's... I'd say she's a snitch. She's a snitch. That's all I can say. It's kind of like the Hello Kitty murders back in China. But... there's a lot of work. Oh my god. No. Stream cannot cause cancer. But it can cause boredom. Which is why I'm gonna be wrapping up this stream just right now, because I basically have covered over the Grace stuff. Yeah, she is an accomplice to murder. Maybe you, if you cross streams. That's why I'm going by that rule, to not cross people's streams. That's why I don't stream while other people's streaming, because it will be bad for me, though. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this stream. I'm sorry it's not as productive or savvy as my ones, because I'm still trying to figure out how to fix the YouTube thing on my Streamlabs. But again, I hope you guys liked it. If you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel. I am on the verge of reaching 300 subscribers. Hopefully I will be getting there before, well, before July. Anyway, if you guys want to support me in other ways, you can donate to my PayPal if you want to send a few dollars my way. Any amount will do. Whether big or small, any amount will do. Most of the donations, the proceeds, will go to supporting other content creators like Frank, Jules, The Geek Room, Miss Parker, and many other users. That's all for now, and I have to say this. I am Rickzilla, and I shall see you guys in the near future. Peace out.